Now, we all know the story of the Journey to the West, but do we know the story of
Journey to the Anime? You know I'm talking about Journey to the Anime. Goon Squad certified, so you know that he don't play. If you not with Journey, then you corny just like Frito-Lay. He'll have you catch.
Welcome back on this journey with me, and today our journey leads us to none other than Good Night World. Good Night World is a story about one person who is the main character. I'll get to his name in a second. And he kind of is in this video game, but he's in this game all day. Like, he's one of those shut-ins that just plays the game all day, no matter what. And he's part of a family called the Achibana family. The family is just in the game world, and they run into some troubles. Later find out that there's more to this world than meets the eye. I don't want to, what I would say is, if you have not watched the first episode, you might want to go back, because this review technically is going to be hard to do without spoiling a little bit. Now, what happens at the end of the first episode, they're getting into a big fight with this big monster in this big world, and basically one of the characters get KO'd by this monster. And come to find out, this family in here is actually family in real life, but this family is so dysfunctional. Comparing it to anything, I would probably compare it to like, I wouldn't say the whole family was dysfunctional because we only saw two of the characters, but if you compared it to anything, I would compare it to Neon Genesis Evangelion when it comes to dysfunction in the family. Like, the family is not at all on the same page. They do not like each other. It's a terrible dynamic of a family. And that leads into other stuff, but I'll get into that when I get to the positives and negatives. As for the main character's real name, his real name is Ichi. Ichi is his real name in real life. He's I don't know how you put this. He like I said, he's a really, really shut-in type of person. He does not go outside. He doesn't do any of that. And as far as when we start the other characters, you have Asuna, or his name is AAA in game. And then you have Shiro, but that's just the character name of the father in the family in the game. But the father in real life's name, Kojiro. And Kojiro is really he's the creator of this game. He did not know the game would get this big or anything. He just was doing it. He's a programmer, so he made this game. What I will say is, after making this game, just a whole bunch of stuff goes wrong, because he tried making an AI in this game and everything, and the world kind of builds from there. And it's only 12 episodes. Now, I don't see them making a further thing. I have friends tell me, hey, there's a manga out on this. So I would think there's more that we just missed in that whole anime, but they wrapped it up in a nice, tight 12 episodes. And you guys know, like I always say, I love my short anime series. It's just because it's less room for error. And if it's good, it's good. If it's good, it's great. If it's bad, it's really bad. Before we go into the details of what's good and what's not, I'm going to warn you guys, this should not be for kids. It should not be for kids. It's got too much in it, which I will be getting into with the positives and negatives, but referring to kind of traumas, like family traumas. And it's super deep. I would not want to put this on any kid, just like I wouldn't want to put Evangelion on any kid, because everybody remembers that first season of Evangelion, which just started out with trauma. So I'm not gonna say let your kid watch this. I just can't recommend for that. You do you watch it first, then you can see if your kid will handle it. But unless your kid is ready for like those psychological things, I would not recommend this. Let's get into negatives first. The negatives is gonna be harder for me to pick from. I guess you could say the animation isn't as great. It's like basic animation. It's not the top tier. It's not bad animation. It's just around the middle of what you're gonna get with this generation, which is pretty good anime. I feel like people would say this is too short, like, because it was really good, but it's just too short. That would be a negative I would put for there, because I feel like it could possibly could have been stretched out. That's about all the cons I could give it, because the character work is great. We'll get to that in the good. But speaking of the good, let's get to the positives. Character work is great. The kind of evolution and acceptance of characters is great. And what I'll say that this does well is like making these characters, showing you the traumas that they've had and how they have to face them and how the moving on of it happens. I say that all happens pretty great. Now, I got fooled when I first started watching this anime because when you first started watching this, you're like, okay, this is going to be a happy-go-lucky type of world. Maybe SAO at the bottom tier. Maybe it's just Shangri-La Frontier. No, this is a world where it does the best out of any anime I've seen do it is connecting the world from the real world to the fake world, because it's really hard for me to get into a lot of animes that have the virtual worlds. Once they get out of the world, it's not as interesting. And I don't know how many people agree with me with that. There was only 1 or 2 interesting spots in it for me in SAO, but in this, bro, the outside world mattered just as much as the inside world. And I will give that great positive for that. Like, that's, to me, is just up there. Now, as far as going to rating this, so let's get to the rating. It's hard because I want to give it a 5 because to me, damn near perfect. I can't really find too much fault in it besides, like, in the 12 episodes when I was watching it, because I watched this all, I want to say 2 days, it didn't feel like the story wasn't enough. It didn't feel like anything wasn't enough. But I want to say 5 stars for those special tiers. So I'm gonna give this the 4 stars. I think animation is the only thing that maybe you could justify from keeping it out of 5. But as far as the story goes, I think, and I've discussed this with people, there's no way you look at this and you look at Sword Art Online and be like, okay, the Sword Art Online we may like, but the story compared to Goodnight World is just dirt. I'm sorry. Just being fair in comparison of it, because I do like Sword Art Online. I have some of the games. But when I'm looking at story to story, what they accomplished in one season versus what Sword Art Online has as a whole, I would much rather enjoy this story because it fulfills everything you need fulfilled in it. It has actual true trauma. Yes, you have trauma in the beginning of Sword Art Online with the Asuna being trapped in the game and stuff and married and all that stuff. But this has no fall off from the trauma or anything. I never lost interest in this. So I'm giving this the 4. It could possibly be a 5, but I'm giving it the 4 star. If you guys have watched this, let me know what you think of the whole series. It's only 12 episodes, guys. Let me know how you guys feel about short anime in general. But besides that, make sure you guys subscribe. You like the video, comment, share it. Get this to more people so we can all take this beautiful anime journey together. I'll see you guys next time, and let's see where this journey leads us to next.
Level up all the way to the sky. Dropping interstellars that are taking so high. And all while he playing DBZ Budokai. Bucko.